Welcome Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. Fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Fantasy football talk, hateful eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down, Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to LB Design Studio, we're getting loud. Season 2, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackburn.
What up?
Oh, hello.
I was looking for Trimboli and he wasn't here.
No, he still hasn't come in this week. So Trimboli, as we said in the Thursday night primer show, he said he wasn't going to be in at all this week, so it's just us again. So sorry if you're disappointed, but oh well. This episode, we discuss the rest of the Week 10 games, and we'll get your lineups ready heading into the weekend. So, as always, don't forget to follow the show's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Now, on to the Week 10, good, bad, and ugly.
Weekly starts and sits, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, the good, the bad, and the ugly, presented by Stat Route. Dominate your league. Get the stats used by the pros. Any stat, any player, any team available in under 5 seconds. Head over to statroute.com. Use promo code HATEFULFF, all caps, for 25% off your subscription. So we just gave away a week subscription to Nathan Wilson from Twitter. So shout out to him for winning last week's contest. But I was going to say, in reference to the guy who does our sound bites for our drops, dude has made it finally. I mean, he's on a Mitsubishi
the commercial, yeah.
So
where he's in the car.
So if you go on YouTube and you go to Mitsubishi, the car company, I don't know if they have any other channel, but the car company, and you do the epic trailer or whatever it is, that's the guy who does all of our drops, like the good, the bad, the ugly, the Thursday night primer. So he finally, I think he's got a break in the big times, which is pretty cool to see him actually make it, because I remember when he was just kind of doing like just the basic trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
I was messing with the kids and stuff when I had the TV going, and I heard that, and I kind of looked over, and I was like,
I recognize that
hey,
voice.
I know that.
So cool guy. John Bailey is his name. If you want to find him on Twitter, he's a good guy. So
It's pretty cool.
All right, so let's get into the Week 10 games. You've got the early games.
Yes, sir.
Correct? All right, cool.
Yep. First game, Cardinals at Chiefs. My good for this one is Larry Fitzgerald, averaging 21 points per game since Byron Leftwich took over as offensive coordinator a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's 15th against wide receivers. I think Kansas City's going to be scoring, obviously.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to throw. Fitzgerald's their number one guy. So I think he's a good play this week.
Most definitely.
My bad is Sammy Watkins. He's banged up. He banged up his foot a little bit last week.
Shocking.
So he's not 100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it took him this long.
Right.
Arizona, surprisingly, is 8th against wide receivers, though, which
It's got to be all Patrick Peterson.
yeah, it has to be. My ugly for this one, and it's real ugly, is Ricky Seals-Jones. There's a lot of bye weeks this week. I know if you need to stream a tight end, Kansas City is 24th against tight end, so this is matchup-based only. Like I said, Arizona's probably going to have to be throwing a lot. So Fitzgerald, David Johnson, Ricky Seals-Jones could be the beneficiary.
Most definitely. Now, I was going to say with Sammy Watkins, kind of stay tuned, because they said that there's a potential that he may not even play, depending on they're going to basically he's going to practice all week, as he should, but he's going to be a game time decision. But either way, like you said, bad matchup anyways. Yeah, it is what it is. But for Ricky Seals-Jones, I think that's a good play, because I think there's like 4 teams on a bye this week. So Minnesota's one of them. Kyle Rudolph is on a bye, so you're looking at that. Somebody matchup-wise.
Somebody to stream, yeah. Texans are on a bye week.
Yep, so not a bad play against the defense of Kansas City, who tends to give up a lot within they actually don't play very good defense against the tight end, as you can see.
24th.
So not a bad play. So
next game, this is I don't even know why people would want to go to this game.
Can you flex this out of this week so they neither one of them play?
Bills at Jets.
Oh yeah.
My good for this one is either running back you can get your hands on, if it's Isaiah Crowell or Elijah McGuire.
Right.
Crowell's averaging 12 points per game, and McGuire, I mean, he's just coming back off an injury, but he's going to be the pass guy. Buffalo's 21st against running backs, but listen to the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago was James White. Mm-hmm. He scored 26 points.
Yeah, but
PPR.
no Sony Michel, so he had a solid play.
Right, and then last week, Jordan Howard.
Which Tariq Cohen disappeared?
Yeah, Tariq Cohen had one catch for like 2 yards, or he had 2.6 points. Jordan Howard had 17. So fire up them running backs.
Yeah.
My bad for this one is Robbie Anderson. I know they said today that Sam Darnold's out.
True.
Josh McCown's coming in, which he does favor Robbie Anderson, but he's only averaging 9 points per game this season, and Buffalo's actually top 6, and they're 6th against wide receivers.
I was surprisingly enough, that's their strength is the pass defense for Buffalo.
Whatever. My ugly for this one is LaShawn McCoy. Last week he played 37 of the Bills' 91 offensive snaps. Now, they were getting blown out.
True.
But still, I mean, that doesn't look good.
No.
He's only averaging 8 points per game this season, and New York is 12th against running backs, so they're not bad.
Right, but as long as Nathan Hot Turnover Peterman's the quarterback, they're going to be playing from behind, and they're going to need to do something to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, I mean, 37 of 91 offensive snaps. That's
And he's not healthy either. I'm finding. I'm more looking at because he got hurt that.
Yeah. Ivory didn't play that much either. It was the third string guy.
Right.
I forget his name, but
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not playing him, so it doesn't matter.
True story. Next game is Jaguars at Colts. My good Fournette. He's finally back.
Good old Leonard.
I mean, you've been holding on to him for this long.
Right.
You're going to play him. Indianapolis is 20th against running backs.
Right. You know he's going to start. It's how many plays that he's going to play. Are they going to put him? They haven't said it that they're putting him on a snap count or anything like that. So my best guess is they're going to play him until he can't physically play. For if that comes down to it, but he's planning on playing. He's full practice so far this whole week. So why not?
I mean, I'll fire him up. My bad, T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
15 points per game. He's only had 5 receptions in the last 2 weeks. Now, granted, 2 of those were 1-yard touchdowns 2 weeks ago, but still 5 catches in 2 weeks. Jacksonville is number 1 against wide receivers.
Yeah, even though they've struggled at times, the defense, because the offense has put them in a bad spot, but the defense is still not a bad defense, and Jalen Ramsey is still there. So,
yeah, I don't like T.Y. Hilton this week.
No.
My ugly for this game, and we talked about him in the last episode, was Marlon Mack. He's averaging 33 points per game the last 2 weeks. He's getting more comfortable as a pass catcher. Andrew Luck's looking for him in the pass game. Jacksonville's 10th best against running backs, but I still like Marlon Mack in this one.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, he just, you can't sit him at this point, regardless of the matchup. You're going to play him, and more likely you're going to probably play him as your RB2. So
yeah. Next game is Patriots at Titans. My good for this one, no surprise, James White. He's averaging 22 points per game this season. Now, Sonny Michel's supposed to be coming back this week.
Yes.
But I still like James White over Sonny Michel anyway.
Well, he's healthier, I should
He's
say.
healthier, and he gets the pass catches.
Correct.
Tennessee is second best, though, against running backs. So it's not the greatest matchup, but I'll still take James White.
Well, yeah, most definitely.
My bad for this week, and he's going to be my bad every time I draw the Titans, is Derrick Henry. 7 points per game. He's TD dependent from the goal line only. Like,
Right.
at least last year, he broke like a few 70-yarders. He's not even doing that. He's
No.
strictly 1 yard, they give him the ball. And
Right.
they even try to throw a lot in the red zone.
True.
But, I mean, I don't know. Deion Lewis is doubling his production.
I was
this
going to say, last week against Dallas, Derrick Henry, I think he had six rushes, and Deion Lewis had like somewhere around 20. So
Yeah, plus all the pass catching work.
Right.
So, I don't know. New England's 15th against running back, so they're middle of the road.
yeah,
My next game is near and dear to my heart. Redskins at Buccaneers. My good for this one is Adam Humphries.
yeah,
Not the flashiest name on the roster, but he's had 22 receptions and 15.6 per game since Fitzmagic has come back.
well, you know,
He's been the go-to guy.
down the field threat.
Washington is 24th against wide receivers. Just ask, Ridley and Julio Jones. They torched them guys up this past weekend.
True.
My bad for this one is Adrian Peterson. The matchup looks tempting on paper. Tampa Bay's 30th against running backs. However, 3 of the Redskins' starting offensive linemen are out, including Pro Bowl left tackle Trent Williams, Sean Laval, and Brandon Sheriff are all. I mean, Trent Williams is out for like a couple weeks, but the other 2 starting guards, are out for the season.
Not good.
So I don't like Adrian.
Capri Bibbs could be a potential good, in a pinch if you want to play in a flex play. But overall, the run game, like you said, with that offensive line, it could be a bad situation. Now, Buccaneers aren't really like the greatest against the pass. With pass rush, like getting to the quarterback. But still, they're also playing now backups against 3 starting positions.
Yeah, I mean, it's the cohesiveness on the offensive line is.
That was how Washington was last year. I mean, they were doing pretty decently, and then the offensive line started getting hurt, and that's kind of when the wheels fell off last year for them.
I think that's what's going to happen this year. So, my ugly for this one is Maurice Harris. We talked about him in the last episode.
Yeah.
He's become the most targeted wide receiver. Paul Richardson's out for the year now with shoulder surgery. 10 receptions, 124 yards last week against Atlanta. Tampa Bay is 31st against wide receivers.
Yeah, they're bad.
So I like Jordan Reed in this one. I was going to put Jordan Reed here too.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa Bay is like
Honorable
29th,
mention.
29th against tight ends. So.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, like we talked about in the last episode, Maurice Harris, if nothing else, I mean, he's a solid flex play with lots of upside. I mean, like you said, last week, 10 receptions, 124 yards. This week, he may even get that and a touchdown.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's atrocious in the secondary.
And especially if they can't run the ball really well, they're going to be throwing a ton from on Washington's side. So
Right. My next game, Falcons at Browns. My good for this one's Tevin Coleman. He had a breakout party last week with 32 points against said Washington Redskins.
yeah,
He's averaging 15 points this season. Cleveland is 28th against running back, so it's a great matchup.
yeah. Even in a bind, I would say Edo Smith might not be a bad play in this game.
Right.
In a bind.
My bad for this one is both Falcons and Browns defenses. They all have good. I looked at the matchups: running backs, receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. They're all green.
Oh man.
So no defense in this game.
No, I mean, and the Falcons did sign Bruce Irvin this week, but overall, you're not starting any one of these. Hopefully, in your defensive spot this week.
I mean, I know there's bye weeks, and you got to pick up some defenses here. Usually, in the years past, whoever's playing Cleveland's attractive, but
not this year.
not this year. My ugly for this one is Nick Chubb. He's averaging 13 points per game since Hyde left. He's getting more touches per week, especially in the passing game. Atlanta's 31st against running backs.
Right. Now, Duke Johnson did see some volume last week, but I think that was also a lot of game script, where I think this game is going to be a back and forth where the game's going to be close enough that they're not going to have to play from behind.
Yes.
So Nick Chubb definitely will be the volume guy, I think, this week. So.
And my last game is Lions at Bears. My good for this one is both wide receivers Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay. Jones is averaging 14 points per game, Galladay 13. Since with Tate gone, they're both going to see a even more uptick in targets. Chicago's 18th against receivers.
Yeah, not a bad play at all.
My bad's Kerryon Johnson. He's averaging 13 points per game. I think that they're going to have to throw a lot to stay in this game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the Bears' offense is starting to continue to get better and better every week. So.
Right, and Chicago is number one against running backs.
Not a really good matchup against for a running back in that game. At least the Detroit backfield is not a good situation.
They let go of Abdullah. So
right.
I don't know. I just don't like Johnson this week. Ugly is Tariq Cohen, averaging 15 points per game. I know he had his worst game of the year last week with 2 points, but that was all game script. They were blowing out Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Jordan Howard got 2 goal line touchdowns, or one of them they were both red zone touchdowns.
Right.
Detroit's 23rd against running back, so I like Tariq Cohen. I think this game I'm not going to say a shootout, but both offenses are going to have to pass, and that favors Cohen more than Howard.
Right. I mean, Jordan Howard might see some volume in the red zone again, but overall, I think in between the 20s, I think Tariq Cohen sees more volume this week. So
agree.
I think you can be happy to play him this week where you may not have been so much last week. So. All right, mine were the middle of the row, the 4 o'clocks and the Sunday night and the Monday night game. The first one, New Orleans at Cincinnati. The good in this one's Andy Dalton. Saints are 32nd against quarterbacks, so they're not the best. And Andy Dalton, I think, is going to have to throw in this game to stay moving.
Yes.
Because this New Orleans offense is going to be
humming.
Right, is the best way to put it. They're going to be moving down the field on every series. So I think he's going to have to throw the ball early and often. And that's why my bad is Joe Mixon. If there's one good thing that the Saints are doing, that's stopping the run, and they're third against running backs. Let's see. They are giving up their fourth. They're giving up only 19 fantasy points total, which is not what you're really excited about. I mean that sounds like a lot, but that's overall to the position.
I think a lot of it's game script because if you look at it, they're up on the majority of their opponents.
Right.
So they have to abandon the run, which makes that stat look better for them.
Right. So to me, Joe Mixon, I'm not saying to bench him. I'm just saying
No.
just pump, as we talked about with Christian McCaffrey, it's just pump the brakes. Know that there's a good chance he may only score you 13 to 15 fantasy points this week.
In PPR settings, he's more valuable because he can catch.
Right.
Which I'm sure he will. But in standard leagues, I mean, don't expect much.
Right. So, and that's why I said 19.5 fantasy points they're giving up to the running back in the PPR scoring. So
Right.
that's good points. However, that's probably a lot of pass catching. So if Joe Mixon's not involved in the pass catching, then he's going to be invaluable, I think, for this game.
Well, I think I read a report that said Bernard's practicing this week, and he could be back into the mix.
Yeah, which is
not good for Mixon.
No. Now, the ugly in this one, Ben Watson. Bengals are 24th versus tight ends. And I just think that he's continued to see more and more volume. Now, this was also before Dez Bryant got signed. So my ugly in this one might even be Dez Bryant. I hate to say this. I think that if they get Dez Bryant actually active and going, I think either him or Ben Watson could be the ugly in this one just because of the red zone. And I think that's literally what we're looking at because prior to Dez being signed, Ben Watson was looked at in the red zone outside of Kamara or Ingram in the running game. Michael Thomas really wasn't looked at in the red zone. I mean, he was thrown to, but the opportunities were more so in the run game or to Benjamin Watson on a bootleg. So I think that this is what you could see potentially, I guess. It would be either Ben Watson or Dez Bryant if he's active. So
well, this could be a bad weather game, too, because they're calling for maybe snow here.
On starting Friday into the weekend, they're calling for potential snow flurries. So
and the Saints aren't the best away from the dome.
No, they're not an outdoor team for sure. So we'll see. Now the next one, the LA Chargers at the Oakland Raiders. Man, the good in this one, Tyrell or Mike Williams.
I like Tyrell.
Either one of these guys are great this week. Oakland's 26 against wide receivers. That's enough said. Oakland's horrible.
Hey, you see what Nick Mullins did to him,
right? So, if anything, and I mean, Pierre Garçon, who's been irrelevant all year, shows up.
Had his best game of the year.
So
wide open touchdown.
Right. So I think Keenan Allen, obviously, you're going to play him, and I think he's going to be fine. But Tyrell or Mike Williams in your wide receiver 2 or flex spot, if you have to, is not a bad play for this week.
I like it.
The bad, any one of the Oakland running backs doesn't matter.
Hot garbage.
Doesn't matter. Chargers are 13th against running backs. They're not giving a whole lot of points out of the PPR setting. But yeah, Doug Martin, Rashard, it's just.
I would play Rashard just because of the uptick in passing, but I mean, you're right. Either one of them is garbage.
Yeah, so not the greatest. It is what it is. And then the ugly in this one, Jared Cook. Now, the Chargers are 14th against the tight end, but to me...
He's number 1.
He's the best receiving option.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you look at it, Jordy Nelson's actually kind of faded back since the Amari trade.
You really thought he was going to take a step forward and kind of be the guy, whatever that meant.
But he was not.
No.
Jared Cook is, but he's inconsistent.
Right. I don't
get it.
I think Jordy Nelson kind of excelled because of Amari Cooper being there drawing the main coverage.
Yes.
Now that the main coverage is on Nelson, Jared Cook is seeing the benefits of this. So
Bryant's not even doing anything.
No. Martavis Bryant, he's just collecting a paycheck to do nothing, I guess. I don't know what he's even there for. But so yeah, that was mine. I think Jared Cook's a good play this week. Another streamable tight end for sure if he's on waivers, or if you've got him, he's definitely a week to play him. I mean, this is a favorable matchup. So Seattle at the LA Rams. This is good. This should be a good game. This might be a high scoring game.
The years past, like the Rams have dominated pretty much everybody in that division, but the Seahawks give them fits.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's in LA, so it's a home game.
Don't matter.
But still.
Russell Wilson knows how to get in there. I don't know.
He finds a way to win. I mean, or make the game close. I mean, they were down how many points last week, and he just kept bringing them back closer and closer and closer. And you're like, they might actually win this game. And had, I forget, I think it was David Moore or whatever in the back of the end zone caught that pass, they would have won the game. But either way, so the good in this one, either team's wide receivers. Seattle's 21st against wide receivers, and the Rams are 22nd against wide receivers. So either one of them.
Points everywhere.
Right. The bad in this one, now I know we're talking about the wide receivers being good. The bad in this one is Jared Goff. I'm not saying don't play him. I'm just saying temper your expectations because Seattle is 4th against quarterbacks. Even though they're not the Legion of Boom, they're still finding a way to get pressure and to give opposing quarterbacks fits. So, and Goff did kind of struggle initially against the Saints.
He did.
So
Saints did work on them boys.
I mean, he came back towards the latter half of the game, but I mean, it took almost 3 quarters for him to get in a groove against that Saints defense, who, as we said, is not really good. They're 32nd against quarterbacks. So, just saying. Now the ugly in this one, Nick Van the Rams are 23rd against tight ends, and Nick Van has continually gotten more and more involved in the passing game. He should be. I mean, he's a really good tight end in that offense, and outside of Dilly Disley, he's been the next best thing when he went down with that injury. So
go Buckeyes.
Right. I mean, he's another. I mean, he's a wild card. He could go off for 12 to 15, or he could have you 5 or 6. So it is what it is. But he is another tight end. He's probably on your waivers. You could pick up in a streaming situation.
I guarantee you that he is.
Right. Miami at Green Bay. So the Miami team is headed to the frozen tundra for a potentially cold weekend. The good in this one, Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, both of them seem to get enough volume to be viable options. Miami is 31st against running backs.
Ouch.
Not good. So if you have Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, either or are going to be fine. Jones seems to be getting the more red zone opportunities, where Jamal Williams is getting more in the passing game. So they both see enough, like I said, snaps and volume to be worthwhile. So the bad in this one, Kenyon Drake. Green Bay is 14th against running backs, and they seem to be continually using Frank Gore, and they slowly started using Kalen Ballage in the game.
We said preseason Frank Gore was going to get his work.
Right, and he is. He's
10 to 12 points a game.
He is. So he's still seeing, I mean, that old man is still seeing plenty enough volume and being a viable option. I just think that Kenyon Drake's reason why he's bad is not just because Green Bay is middle of the road, but because of the way the opportunities are not as great as they could be for him. Now, if he was seeing 80 to 90% of the volume and all Gore was getting on was the short yardage or the goal lines, maybe. But they're using Gore at different points of the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I just think that Kenyon Drake's going to have a bad day. I just think the matchup's not favorable. For one, it's the middle of the road, and I just think the volume's not going to give him enough opportunity to be viable. So the ugly in this one, MVS or Valdez-Scantling, the wide receiver 2 now in Green Bay. Miami is 19th against wide receivers, and you know their best coverage guy is probably going to be on Devonta Adams, and their best linebacker in coverage is probably going to be on Jimmy Graham. So
yep.
I just think that he's going to have enough opportunity to potentially have one of those 50-yard touchdown catches, and that sets you for the day for him.
Well, I mean, he's been getting 5-6 catches a game here in the last 3-4 weeks.
Right. And no Geronimo Allison. Cobb is kind of being phased into a specific package gameplay, if you want to call it, screens and things of that nature. He's not really being used a whole lot down the field like he had been earlier in the year, so why not?
I'm excited for this next game.
This could be an interesting game. Dallas at Philadelphia. You know what you're getting, what you've seen over the last couple of weeks with Dallas. Philadelphia has been hot and cold. They've been offensively, they've really hit, but their defense has not held up to their standard of what they had been previously. So, and the thing is, the two starting cornerbacks for Philadelphia are out. Jalen Mills and I forget the other guy's name. Those are the 2 starters normally are both out for the week.
Nice. So
that's my next point. Comes with the good. Amari Cooper seems to be Dak's new favorite toy, whatever that means. They favored him early and often last week in the Monday night game against Tennessee, even with Malcolm Butler on him, who's I would say he's not elite, but he's in that upper.
He's above
group.
average.
Right. And whoever these 2 starting corners are that are going to be out there are not going to be close to Malcolm Butler's talent level, as bad as that sounds. But Philadelphia is 25th against wide receivers, so they already were struggling, and now they're going to be down their for sure best guy in Jalen Mills. So Amari Cooper is definitely a good play in this one, and I mean he in his short week of bye week coming off with Dallas, he actually was a viable option this past week. So touchdown. I mean he didn't see a ton of volume, but he had enough yardage and the touchdown that made him worth playing, and I think he could potentially see the same this week. So the bad in this one, Alshon Jeffrey, Dallas. Second against wide receivers. So Dallas is still stingy against wide receivers. I mean, where Dallas got gashed by Tennessee was more so in the run catching game, like Deion Lewis.
Deion Lewis killed him.
So they did have Corey Davis did play okay, and
Mariota, I mean, he converted like an ungodly percentage of third downs.
Right, and that's what killed it. And the fact that Dallas' defense, people are like, well, Dallas' defense looked horrible towards the back end of the game. Well, yeah, because at that point, like we talked off the show, they were on the field for like 65 to 70% of the game at that point.
Yeah, they were gashed at the end.
I mean, Dallas' offense was going 3 and out or 1 or 2 and out, so it just they were on the field too long. I still think that the best corner that we've got is Byron Jones, and he's going to be covering Alshon Jeffrey. Now, Golden Tate could be a viable option. But the bad for me is Alshon, just because I think the best covered guy is going to be on him. So the ugly in this one, Zach Ertz or even Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert's starting to see some red zone opportunities as well. So
if you got Zach Ertz, you're going to play him. But yeah, I like Dallas Goedert as a sleeper.
Yeah, for this week, he potentially could be one of those guys that you picked up off of waivers just to play him because you had Kyle Rudolph or somebody on bye this week, and you're in a deeper league that you don't really have easy access to. Name brand guys, as you would say. But Dallas is middle of the road against tight ends, and if Zach Ertz is out there, he's probably drawing the best coverage guy in Jalen Smith, and no Sean Lee. So
he's out for 3 to 4 weeks.
Vander Bosch or whatever his name is.
Vander Esch.
Yeah, that guy.
Vander Bosch played for the Titans.
True. Vander Esch is going to be probably on Dallas Goedert and or a safety. So Heath might be out there. I'm just saying the best cover guy for a lot against a tight end is probably going to be on Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert might be the guy that kind of gets to slip out and see those red zone opportunities.
He did in London.
Right. So that's why I'm saying. But this is an interesting one because
I'm excited for it. I'm glad it's on Sunday night.
I am too. I mean, as a Dallas fan, not to go too far into it, I just think that Troy Aikman made a very valid point in saying that the Dallas Cowboys organization as a whole needs to wipe the slate clean and start over. You're not going to get rid of the Jones family, so you're going to have to start to the level below them, which is the head coach and Jason Garrett. Unfortunately, like we talked about, he's too much of a yes guy, and Jerry's is not going to cut him.
You could wipe the slate clean all you want to below the Jones family, but it needs to start with the Jones family.
Oh yeah, but it's not going to.
I know.
So
then nothing's going to change.
No, so
because he'll find another yes man.
Right, that's the thing, and it is what it is. And we talked about this as well. Dak is, to me, he's average. He's an average quarterback in the NFL.
He's a solid backup quarterback.
Right. I mean, he may be able to start for like I said, I think he's about middle of the road in the NFL for quarterbacks at this point. And I don't think, I hate to say this, but I mean, there's a lot of talks out of the Dallas radio area was saying, oh, well, let's get him a real offensive guy, like a real offensive coordinator, like a Sean McVay type. They said they could take him and maybe move him up. Yeah, you might, and make him above average, but he's still.
He'll never be an elite level. Yeah.
And
whereas Jared Goff has the potential to be an elite level quarterback.
Right. And he just happens to have one of the better offensive minded guys in there, and the organization that allows the offensive coach to be the offensive coach.
Well,
I mean, when he came in, they literally said, what do you want?
That owner doesn't need credit for what's going on.
True. So, anyways, it is. So then the Monday night game, we talked about this off air. I'm not sure how this one made it through not being.
Why didn't this get flexed to like the 1:00 games?
I mean, to me,
they could have moved Bengals Saints to this, and it would have been better.
I'm just looking at the other games. What we got the other games in this one? To me, even the Rams in Seattle might have been a better game for Monday night.
Patriots Titans. I mean, no, not just Bills.
No.
I mean. I don't know. It had to be some of your games.
I was going to say, the Rams and the Seahawks were my thought process maybe as a Monday night game.
Or take Carolina-Pittsburgh off Thursday.
Put them as the Monday night.
At Monday, and then
flex somebody in there.
Seattle Rams for Thursday. I mean, who knows? I mean, they could have did some things.
But anyways, the Giants and the 49ers, two underperforming teams. One because their team is primarily injured. The other one because they have a quarterback named Eli Manning. So
no, it's not Eli's fault. I stand by this. It's not Eli.
Oh, so you're not you're saying it's not all Eli's.
The last game they played, Eli threw up 300 some yards.
Well, he does it pretty much almost every week.
Exactly. So it's not him. He don't have the time to throw. It's the offensive line.
I say it probably coincides with the fact he doesn't trust that offensive line.
You're paying Nate Solder $15 million per year, and he's getting just demolished by these guys.
He's maybe like a step better than Eric Flowers. Maybe. You're just paying him more.
Right. And that right side of the line, I don't even want to talk about that.
They might as well not even suit up.
Right.
Anyway, so the good in this one, Matt Breida, the Giants are 23rd against running backs, and he seems to be, now with no Raheem Mostert, to break in there and steal some carries. I know Alfred Morris is there.
Man, where's he been, though? Alfred Morris. Like,
they apparently are just, I don't know, maybe they're resting him or something. I don't know.
what?
I don't know. Not the playoffs, so. The bad in this one, Marquise Goodwin. The Giants, even though their defense as a whole is not really good, they are still number 9 overall against wide receivers, so why not? I'm just telling you the bad. It's not a good situation. Nick Mullins is probably going to be looking for other guys in that offense, like a George Kittle or a Pierre Garçon. So
I like Kittle in this game a lot.
I think this is a good one for him. Now, the ugly in this one for me is Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
San Francisco is 18th against tight ends, and outside of OBJ and Saquon, he seems to be the guy that they look for.
Sterling Shepard could get some deep, because he gets a lot of deep ball targets.
Right.
But yeah, I like Evan Ingram and OBJ all day.
So I just think this could be a good game for Evan Ingram, and it's a bye week. If you have a bye week issue and he's your second tight end that you drafted or whatever, it's not a bad situation to be in.
Nope.
And it's a Monday night game, so there's always that potential. If you're going into Monday night and you're down 5, it's good to have a guy still going, obviously. Or if you're up by 10 and he's got somebody and you got somebody, it's always good to have. So
I hate going into Monday night or Sunday night and not having anybody. And
You're just-
somebody on the other team does, and I'm just sitting there like,
yeah, like please.
I already
don't.
know what's going to happen.
Please don't do that to me. So, but anyways, we just want to tell you guys thanks again for tuning in to today's show, whether it's on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when the shows show up, or on the podcast side. Please check out the site, thehateful8ff.com, where you can get your in-season weekly articles, as well as we have the online store. Follow our personal accounts at jpickleTH8FF, at jblackburnTH8FF, and at ftrimTH8FF. Don't forget to join the Average Donation. Support the show via the Patreon tab on the site, where you can get your in-season league-specific weekly help. Anything else?
No, thanks, guys. We appreciate it. We love all the Twitter questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah, the interactions are always fun. And as always, on Sunday mornings, 10:30, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll drop the question tweet, so that way you can comment if you have anything, and we get back to you guys. I mean, it's like it's firing back and forth.
It's pretty much instantaneous.
Yeah. So, all right, that's all we got for today. We'll see you guys, and good luck in your Week 10 matchups.
Deuces.
One more time. There ain't no one like these three. You know you just heard Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli. Give the goods talking about nothing but fantasy football. Yeah, it's your year to dominate and to wear that ring. Prepare for the draft and dial in on your craft. Quarterback, the first round is a good choice, you ask? This guy's got first round pick, a favorite? Not so fast. He failed to tune into Hateful Eight. He's a chump finishing last.